Okay, but in all actuality, a very easy one. The defendant? Miss Lana Skye? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Gant, what are you still doing here? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana? I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claim, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such an outrageous claim. You'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I got a lunch date to meet. You dick. Okay, if there are any further objections, this court is now in recess. Gant, you prick. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe? I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure, I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair that he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked, as you don't just casually invoke the right, the Fifth Amendment. You don't just, plead the Fifth. It doesn't work. What did he mean by this? That. It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything, too? Emma! Are you okay? The gallery? So what, do they just have, is the gallery just a place where they're, recording the trial? Relieved? You killed somebody! At least I think so. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her, she said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to. Anything and everything. That's creepy. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Sure. Oh, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. In other words, this is the final part of the trial. So fasten your seatbelts and get ready for the final showdown. Well, there's no showdown going on yet. But get ready for the final act. Because Phoenix Wright is ending. After we hear Lana's testimony, I don't know what happens after that, really. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Take to the stand. Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. Well, even if you don't want to be her sister, you kind of still have no choice because of the DNA and all that stuff. But will she really testify? Will she really testify against Gant? I almost said Grant. Darky. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I am confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... This is true. Then that means Chief Gad has nothing to do with this. She's testifying to protect him. Yeah, well, we gotta pull that demon out. We gotta pull her demons out of her somehow. Gant and the fabrication. Hold it, stop right there. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Don't you turn your back on me. I don't gossip. Did what now? Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. Well, it kind of is creeping up on her now. Justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have charged with anything. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Miss Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. At least you know she cares about you. You planted the tip of Dark knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? The body was found by your desk. That's quite a drag. Why did you move it there? Simple. Let's have the witness explain this more in detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. Pieces of jar, huh? Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar Mr. Wright showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would have been clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. I see. This jar is like the most important piece of evidence we have. Completely alone? Do we present the jar again? I'm pretty sure we do. Objection! Yep. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? Murdered? If the truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I am compelled to bring everyone's attention to a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that were shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar in the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in its final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical, huh? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. The jar. This jar. Why is this jar so important? You did? Well, there's a problem with that. Well, I see no need for pressing because, well, it's obvious you didn't get them all. Aw, your sister cares about you so much. Oh yeah, it's a very easy one too. I've beaten this case, but I haven't. Yeah, it's confusing. But it's the reason why I can't skip past the dialogue. Objection! Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I thought so. She didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you did. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that! There is no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar, and another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dirk downstairs. Besides, even if he got there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? I like how his mouth was moving. Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! I like how we just, double teamed on the judge right there. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. It says, oh, typo, it said trail. Damon Gant arrived at the scene prior to the witness. Prior? He proceeded to break the jar. And purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped create the evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and here is the reason. The reason why Miss Sky became the Chief's puppet. Ooh, she bit her thumb and thus the blood came out. That didn't look very pleasant. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that, coming from my own clients. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you tell foul lies then? Miss Sky, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. There is nothing to be afraid of anymore. Huh? This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell us the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. We're getting somewhere with you. One more for the final time. Our last cross-examination. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it, but if all really was fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Then who really killed him? Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. What? I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Huh. We had no such thing. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Well, we did get something from her this morning. This book of evidence law. I like that picture, it's so cute. There is a picture in there. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh, jeez. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. That's because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged the scene. Well... Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? But it had Emma's fingerprints on it. That's your handprint. That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever's fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. Oh, shut up. What? Those fingerprints, they're yours. Arrgh. Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Let's do it. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled in the suit of armor. What the heck? Oh, you're back, huh? Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for our trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant? What, now you want to make me up as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put a word into in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined testimony. That means you've forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. Aha! just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your neck. So what? You think I'm worried? What was that scream then? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So then, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, I'm as sure to be made out the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you'll be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do we do? Sorry, we have no evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gant? You opened my safe! I know you took what was inside! The conclusive evidence! I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut off for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. Oh. What? You mean you admit it? You admit to it? Well, we're going to hear the rest of Gant's story next time. See you guys then.